I'm Vinnie Politan. The subject of my investigation is the celebrity trial of Rihanna's boyfriend, A-lister A$AP Rocky. His alleged crime was caught on video, but does that video prove the case? Here's the story. He's an A-lister who started a family with fellow A-lister Rihanna. His stage name is A$AP Rocky, a megastar in the world of hip-hop who first exploded on the scene more than a decade ago. Rocky was raised in Harlem. He had a challenging life growing up, but made himself into a star and into a millionaire. One of his friends from high school followed him to LA and was part of the A$AP Mob, a hip-hop collective. He's known as A$AP Relli. But for some reason, the lifelong friendship of two young men who came from little to live great lives soured. And it all came to a head one day on the streets of LA. What happened was captured on surveillance video, but is not 100% clear. Prosecutors say it shows A$AP Rocky shooting his former friend A$AP Relli. The bullet allegedly grazed Relli's hand. A$AP Rocky has refused any deal, and the defense is now claiming it was a prop gun. Now the trial is underway, and the key witness is the alleged victim, A$AP Relli. Will the jury believe his testimony? I'm a former prosecutor, and one of the things I used to do in my opening statement, regardless of what the case was, and regardless of how complicated it was, how layered it was, I would always tell the jury it's a simple case. I'm not going to get up and say, ladies and gentlemen, this is a complicated case that you'll never be able to figure out. I would always say, ladies and gentlemen, this is a simple case. Well, I want you to take a listen to the opening statement of the deputy DA in the case against A$AP Rocky.
I'm sure some of you are thinking, wow, this must be a difficult case, or this must be a really complicated case. And to be fair to you, if I was sitting in your position and I looked out on the number of jurors that we started with, or even the number of attorneys that are up here, I'd probably have the same thought myself. But what the evidence will show in this case, and what will become almost instantly clear, is that this is not a complicated case. The evidence will show that the events in this case were captured on surveillance video.
Not a complicated case, and is saying it's all because it's caught on video. Something I've learned, though, here at Court TV, because we have so many videos in many of the trials that we have these days, because there's cameras everywhere we go. And when you say those words, surveillance video, it can mean different things under different scenarios, you know, because the surveillance video, you know, what kind of camera is it? What's the lighting conditions? How close is the camera to everything here? So all of this brings me to the first question in our investigation, which is about the videos. What do the videos prove? What do these videos prove? How clear are they? What story do they tell? What do they capture? Joining me to help us answer this question, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. She attended some of this trial in Los Angeles. Marie Pereira is with us, and the CEO of allhiphop.com. He's covered the rap game for more than 25 years. Chuck Creekmere is with us as well. Great to have you both here. So let's do this. Let's take a look at these videos to try to uncover and figure out what they show and what they prove. Let's begin with the initial altercation. It is 10:10 p.m. on November 6, 2021. And here you see A$AP Relli approaching A$AP Rocky, and they begin pushing one another. This is the beginning of the altercation. Okay, so let's just start with that. Let's start with that piece. Chuck, let me ask you, what are you seeing here?
Okay, first of all, unfortunately, I don't see anything on my screen right now.
You're not getting return. Have you seen the video?
I have seen the video.
Okay,
yes.
So the initial altercation, give me the story behind the video. Why on earth would these two be pushing each other?
Well, apparently, they went to try to resolve their issues between each other. They tried to, I guess you could say, squash it, is what you call it, and trying to amicably resolve a long-standing issue. But
what's the nature?
obviously
What's the nature of that long-standing issue? Give us a little more of the backstory, if you know.
They're high school friends. They're high school friends that grew distant, basically. And after some time and distance, Relli wanted to try to well, let me not say what Relli wanted to do, but between the two of them, they decided to meet up to get over it, so to speak. But that didn't happen, and it quickly turned, violent and physical.
So let's take a look at another piece of this video, Marie. Here's the initial altercation, but what we've highlighted is A$AP Rocky's gun, which kind of takes it to the next level. What are your thoughts here, Marie, about this part of the video? Because this is the clearest part of the video where you can kind of see them, and you do, in fact, see a gun. What does it prove?
It doesn't prove that A$AP Rocky had the intention to assault A$AP Relli with a gun, because it's hard to tell from the video, is it a prop gun or is it a real gun? And it's hard to tell from the video who is the aggressor. It looks to me in some angles that it's A$AP Relli. He's much taller, he's much bigger, and he seems to be in the shoving portion, the one doing all the shoving. So, like you said, Vinny, sometimes you think the video is a slam dunk, and there are so many angles, it's so unclear that it really just adds to the layer of this is a he say situation.
Okay, now there's a second video. This is the actual shooting. You can hear a gun being fired. This is 7 minutes later, about 1 to 2 blocks away. Let's take a look and a listen. Now, obviously, there's a lot of distance here. So what they did in the courtroom is they zoomed in on it and tried to identify everyone on the video. The video very blurry, right? But oh, it's gone. Can we go back so we can identify everyone for the viewers? Can we go back to the beginning? I hope we can. There we go. Okay, so you got A$AP Relli, A$AP Ills, A$AP Two-Way. Those are two of the witnesses in the case. And then on the bottom right, just behind Court TV, that's A$AP Rocky. All right, let's roll it now and see what we can see. This is the actual shooting zoomed in. Again, this is the evidence being shown to this jury. Prosecutor said it's a simple case. All of a sudden, it's not so simple to me. Chuck, let's talk about this issue of real gun versus starter gun, right? Would someone actually walk around? Do you think A$AP Rocky's going to walk around with a gun that's not real?
It's possible. It's very possible, actually. I think it's, this case is very, very complicated. And I've watched the testimony and I've seen Relli's demeanor at certain points. And when he first started testifying, there were very subtle and nuanced interactions between him and the lawyer. And one thing he said is that he got angry when A$AP pulled a gun out. Now, whether or not if he believes that's a real gun, let's assume it's a real gun and he's angry, that's actually a real thing in the culture of hip hop, where if you do in fact pull a gun, you should be prepared to use it. And in fact, if you don't use it, then you are looked upon as, a fake or a sucker. And so I actually believe him when he says that he got increasingly upset. If he, in fact, has a fake gun, it does, gnaw away at ASAP's credibility, but we're not even looking at ASAP in that way anyway. He's an A-lister, as you said. He's someone that is not expected to be living any sort of gangster lifestyle or anything like that. He's now older even. He's a father. And he's almost, hopefully, married to a billionaire.
Yeah, exactly. All right, our guests are staying with us. Coming up next, does A$AP Relli's testimony match up with the videos we just saw?
The videos you saw, without his testimony, proves absolutely nothing.
Did Megan Boswell murder her own 15-month-old baby girl? We'll tell you what you need to know each day in the Baby Evelyn murder trial.
Opening statements with Julie Grant. Mornings at 8, 7 Central on Court TV.
A 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell found dead on her family's compound.
This case is unlike anything I've ever been involved in.
Her own teenage mother charged with little Evelyn's murder.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, this case is about one man's jealousy, lies, and greed. And that man is not Rocky here. That man's Terrell Efron, or you've heard the name, Relli. He is the source of all the evidence in this case, all of it. That the prosecution is going to rely on, he's the source of all the evidence. The two assaults you're going to hear about in this case were both committed by this Relli.
So there's Joe Tacopina kind of framing the case from A$AP Rocky's perspective, which this case is really about, the victim's greed, and the assaults were all his fault. Let's take a listen to more of Joe Tacopina's opening statement here, describing how the jury can figure out what happened here, right? Because you have the prosecutor saying it's simple, just look at the video. Take a listen to Joe Tacopina.
All the evidence comes through his mouth. Every single piece of evidence for you to decide these charges comes through his mouth. This case rises or falls on his credibility. The videos you saw, without his testimony, proves absolutely nothing. You need to believe his testimony and his version of events from the video for these charges to be proved.
All right, so you've got the two ways the case is being framed here. Prosecutors simple, just look at the video. Now, Joe Tacopina, it's all about A$AP Relli. So all of this brings us to the next question in our investigation, which is, does A$AP Relli's testimony match up with the videos, right? Are they kind of in sync here or not? Still with us, Marie Pereira and Chuck Creekmer. All right, so let's take a listen to a little bit of A$AP Relli's testimony here, talking about the altercation.
His hands wasn't up. It was more so walking, so then when we got to each other, he tried to grab me or try to grab me by my collar. That's why you see that, and then I grabbed him off. You know what I mean?
So as best you can remember it, he was the first one who grabbed you by the collar?
Then he grabbed me by my collar.
And then you raised which of your hands to...
My left.
Your left hand to separate from him?
Yeah.
Okay. And as he grabbed the collar of your sweatshirt, what did he do?
I think he's just trying to tug at me and talking and going back and forth. I was angry because he touched me. I was just the off me or probably But then, mind you, the gun came out seconds later, so then my tone got really angry after. Because what the got a gun for? And that's what I said.
When the two of you move off of the screen, is that where he first pulled the gun out of his waistband?
Yeah.
What was the first thing that you saw him do with the gun?
Oh, he pointed at me, and then that's when Elijah was in between, and he's like, "I'll kill you right now." or like whatever, like just was, and then I'm right behind the lodge, and I'm saying, if you brought a gun, use it then. Like, you brought a gun for.
Was it moving?
Yeah, it was moving. He had it up.
Okay, so he didn't just hold it at your stomach. It was kind of.
No, he was looking for a spot to shoot.
Okay.
Like if Elijah wasn't there, I don't know what would have happened. I became furious.
So what did you say back to him?
I told him to use it. I told this kid numerous times, if you have a problem with me, let me know. You know what I mean? I feel like this got to the max. Like this was like no return. So if I was willing to die for my respect at this point, I don't care. You get what I'm saying? Like if this is what you want to do, I still have my dignity.
Okay, Chuck, I understand you can see some of the screen now a little bit, which is good. But what are your thoughts here about what we see in the video and the way he's describing the scene? Does it make sense to you?
I think it makes sense, but I also think that it's extremely ambiguous as to who started. I think it's still, something that I would regard as the eye of the beholder. There are obviously, there's obviously video, but the video does not, to me, display exactly what happened. There's blockage there. They're going out of the frame at points. So I think that it's very hard to tell exactly what happened because ASAP Rocky isn't going to testify. Not likely. We probably won't know what he feels or thinks, but to me, it could be a number of things. I wouldn't necessarily discredit Relli in this, under this, with this video like this.
All right, Maria, I want to take a look now at the shooting as he's describing it in his testimony. And let's see, is everything in sync here? Let's watch.
Why would you follow behind someone that you know is armed with a gun and verbally tell them how you feel in the way that you did?
I told you already because I felt like I would never see him again. And I felt like since he put it away in one busy street in Hollywood, like he's definitely not gonna shoot. Shoot. I'm still talking, but then I see Rocky turn around. Can I explain what happened?
Yes.
So I see Rocky turn around. When he turned around, he's like, kind of looked like a movie. The whole thing looked like a movie, like, you know what I mean? So he kind of like pointed down. He shot the first shot. When he shot the first shot, I felt my hand hot. So I grabbed him, used him as a shield. He's going around trying to shoot me between the hips. 12B is off to the side. I'm not really worried about him. I'm just trying to like not get hit at this point.
How did Hills react to this?
Oh, he was like petrified. He was screaming. After he literally said, "You could have got me killed." And I said, "What? You came with him."
Did you believe, as the defendant was shooting at you, that he was shooting a real gun or a fake gun?
Oh, it was a real gun.
And what led you to believe that it was a real gun?
I mean, I was hit. I was hit.
Was there anything else about it?
Wouldn't know the difference between. I mean, I don't know how would you somebody shooting at you. I don't know how to answer that.
That to me, that moment is amazing. Like, how did you know it was a real gun? It was like, I got hit, right? Like if you get shot, you know you get shot. Marie, what are your thoughts here? Because to me, this is, it's really about, is it a real gun or is it not a real gun? Who started it, who didn't start it? What are your thoughts as you hear this testimony from Relli?
I think if he were less aggressive on the stand and less disrespectful to the prosecutor and didn't call the prosecutor, man, you mad annoying, bro, it would have came across more convincingly. I think I agree with Chuck when I said earlier, this is a he say situation. The video is not helping. And even Joe Tacopina's theory of the case is not 100% helping, because I'm not sure if he's saying this was self-defense. I'm not sure if he's saying it was a complete lie and it was a fake gun, but I know for sure that he said in court, because I was there, that the gun once existed, I'm paraphrasing, and it no longer exists. That's a big problem for his case, because if the whole case is resting upon it was a fake gun to begin with, and he didn't start the fight, it was the victim who was the aggressor, I think we need to see the gun.
Yeah, that's a big problem. That's a really big problem. If you've got a fake gun, just show it to the jury. Here it is. But it's not going to make its way into the courtroom. Chuck, there's two other witnesses here. What are their alliances in all of this? Because they're all part of the ASAP collective, right?
Yeah, 12E and Ills are there as well. They, I hate to say it, but to me, they are there to make sure that ASAP is found not guilty. That's my opinion, and I think that's the purpose that they serve. They're the only other witnesses. They're the only ones that can sort of corroborate what the defense wants to get across. Relli is certainly not doing it, and I believe that's what they're there for.
Yeah, it's fascinating, right? Because it's a case of he said, but there's two more he's. And what they say could make the difference in all this, potentially. Okay, don't go anywhere. Coming up next, will the jury find A$AP Relli credible? I'm Vinnie Politan. We continue our investigation of the celebrity trial of A$AP Rocky, a man who built an amazing career and is building a family with fellow superstar Rihanna. He's facing decades in prison and could miss his children's entire childhoods if the jury believes the prosecution. Here's the story. Two young men, childhood friends from Harlem, New York, growing up in poverty. They work hard, building careers, and end up with success in the world and the business of hip-hop. Both members of the A$AP Mob, a hip-hop collective. But one of them is more successful than the other. He is known as A$AP Rocky, a superstar millionaire A-lister who started a family with fellow superstar A-lister Rihanna. The other is still trying to get to the next level. He's known as A$AP Relli. And one day in the streets of LA, Relli and Rocky had a confrontation. It was captured on video. Relli says Rocky shot at him, grazing his hand. Rocky says that's not true and believes Relli is just going after him in a money grab. And now A$AP Rocky is facing 2 decades in prison on gun charges. And Relli is the key witness against him. He is the key witness. We've been looking at the video, and it's like, it's somewhat ambiguous, right? As to exactly who is starting it and who's doing what at what moment. So the testimony of A$AP Relli becomes crucial. We've seen some of his direct testimony. That's the easy part, right? You tell your story, you can prepare for it. You kind of know what the prosecutor is going to ask you. Now let's take a look at the contentious cross-examination. The attorney for A$AP Rocky, you probably recognize him, Joe Tacopina. He is fierce inside the courtroom. He travels around the country trying very high-profile cases. So let's take a look at some of the back and forth between the alleged victim and A$AP Rocky's attorney, Joe Tacopina.
You never saw any knife on that video?
No, it was out of frame.
So you never saw any knife on the video?
No.
And it's your story that you only followed Rocky, Ills, and 12E because you saw the knife, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So you didn't see 12E putting away a pocket knife. You weren't going to follow him around the corner.
No, just further, I got mad. I was like, just had a gun pulled on me, and now I'm seeing 12 with a knife.
A pocket knife that he was putting away. your testimony?
You keep trying to dumb it down, pocket knife, a gun, what's going on?
Sir, you said pocket knife. I didn't say it.
I mean, the way you
Stop.
like it's regular.
Stop.
You were ready to hit 12E in your head.
I mean, I asked him why he got a knife, and he said it's not like that. He said, no, it's not like that.
You were ready to hit 12. Correct.
Yes, no, I don't remember,
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, no, I don't recall. I don't know.
Don't do that. It's either yes or no, or I don't recall.
Yes. Yeah, yes.
It's your testimony that you were actually injured after Rocky fired the first time.
Correct.
In fact, you testified that you were definitely hit. There's no question you were hit, right?
I was grazed.
Okay, by what?
I guess when he first shot, like my knuckle, I felt like my knuckle get hit.
By what?
I guess whatever was left from the bullet or the floor, whatever, I don't know. I don't know. I can't see, I just know when we get shot, my hand was hot, grabbed it logically.
That's the only time your knuckles were ever injured, right?
Yeah, after the shooting, yes.
So what do you mean you don't know if it's from that night?
What are you talking about?
Okay, so.
You're not talking clear, not like explaining it.
All right, stop it.
No, I'm not.
Ask another question.
So anyway, Mr. Efron, according to you, that's the entirety of the injuries from you being shot on November 6, 2021. Yes or no?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Is it yes?
And I'm not sure that third little knuckle down there, is that also?
That's what I'm saying. If you're a ballistic person, you know how it goes. I don't know. And from what I know, Trump got it hit in the ear.
All right.
He got little graves.
Stop.
Fascinating, right? Because he's talking about being grazed by a bullet, and some people might not find that credible, but as he's pointing out on the stand, the president got grazed in the ear. So I think all of us know that it is possible. But here's the question, the next question in our investigation. Will the jury find A$AP Relli credible? Could be the key to the case for both sides. Joining me, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, and she has been in the courtroom during this trial in Los Angeles, Marie Pereira, and body language expert, senior instructor at the Body Language Institute, author Rodney Smith. Rodney, great to see you as well. This is what I want to do. I want to take a look. We just saw some there, but I want to take a look at another piece of the cross-examination, and then I'm going to start with you, Rodney, to give us some idea of what you're seeing from Relli in terms of his reaction, what he's saying, how he's saying it. So let's do that. This, again, is the cross-examination of A$AP Relli.
Mr. Efron, there is nothing in your Instagram that shows you in Los Angeles on October 19, 2021. Is there?
Yes, it is.
Really? I'm going to give you a live phone. You show me on your Instagram, give me your phone. Show me on your Instagram where it shows that you're in Los Angeles on October 19, 2021.
What do you mean a live phone?
A phone. It's your Instagram. We're going to go to your Instagram.
No, we would have to go see, now you think you slick. We would have to go to my phone, my actual phone, and go to my archive. You're not going to show me something of my highlights, which is not there. You think you slick.
Stop. This is,
you're not going to keep tripping me up. I'm on
Mr. Efron.
Your Honor, we have a letter from the DA, and the letter says that Mr. Efron informed them that he went on his Instagram.
Yes, my Instagram.
all right.
Your Instagram, as in Relli Boss?
You're trying to show me somebody else's that I can't activate where I can go to my archive. You're not slick.
Stop it. He doesn't need to go on someone else's phone.
You have your phone with you?
And you know I don't got it. It's over there. We can get it though. I can show them. We can go here right now.
So your
Clear this
Instagram
up.
is what caused you to go back.
No, you did because you're sneaky.
Don't be insulting. Stop it. He is not insulting you. Don't insult him. Don't insult any lawyer that's asking you questions. You're not doing yourself any good by doing that.
I mean, I'm getting screwed. I mean, this is not what I...
How much longer?
Wow. All right, Rodney, there's a lot going on here. What are your thoughts about what you're seeing in the dynamic in that entire scene in the courtroom?
Well, first and foremost, when we look at a victim of a unfortunate circumstance, especially when you decide to put yourself on the stand, you want to create a level of empathy. You want people to feel sorry for you. You want them to feel your pain. You want them to feel your story to be believable and credible. And based off the emotions and the characteristics and the displays that he's creating, he's doing the exact opposite. He's being more confrontational. He's doing finger pointing. He's giving the knife hand. He's showing that he wants to be in control and that he wants to basically control the situation and try to be more authoritative, so to the point that even the judge is having to intervene and tell him to stop his childish antics and behavior.
Marie, what are your thoughts about the dynamics here? Because on the one hand, you've got Joe Tacopina's on the attack. You've got A AP Relli going after Tacopina, and then you got the judge going after Relli.
I think it was an overload of testosterone. Seeing it live made me cringe because I think the judge should have had better control over the courtroom. I think Joe Tacopina should understand he's almost the same type of person as Relli, except he's an attorney, but he's sort of like a from the streets kind of guy, and the two clashed. He should have had his colleague, who's calmer,
so let me ask
do
you,
that cross-examination.
But let me ask you, Marie, as you're inside the courtroom during that moment, are you feeling sorry for anyone? Do you feel like anyone in that moment is the victim of what's happening?
I felt sorry for A AP Relli because because at one point, when they brought out his bank records, it was humiliating. They brought out text messages from his girlfriend, it was humiliating. And they made him look like a loser who was doing nothing more than dreaming of putting his hand on A$AP Rocky's money because he was a nobody. And at one point, he said himself, I'm a nobody. This thing ruined my entire career. And then they crossed him and said, what career? You say you were in the room with labels and had artists. Name one record label executive you sat with. And he was humma, humma, humma. I felt sorry for him. They humiliated him, all in the effort to show the motive. They did a good job, but I felt like,
yeah, but if you're getting some of that sympathy. All right, Rodney, let's take a look at another part of his testimony here of A$AP Relli.
Were you approaching him of the state of mind that you were going to have a physical fight with him?
No, the whole time, to be honest, I would never fight Rocky. And that's God's honest truth. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a reason to fight them. We're in an industry where you get blackballed really easy. I'm obviously on the lower end of the stick here. You get what I'm saying?
What would it mean for your career if you got in a physical fight with him?
Oh, it would be over.
How so?
It would be over.
Can you
literally
explain
over. You don't have a career.
Was that in your head?
I'm like part of a conglomerate, like a group. So if I fight Rocky and I beat him up, or if we fight or something, I'm already not liked, and people don't like me like that. So if I'm fighting him, I'm definitely getting blackballed, and all the labels like him and work with him and do this. You know what I mean?
Were you approaching him of the state of mind that you were going to have a physical fight with him?
No, the whole time, to be honest, I would never fight Rocky. And that's God's honest truth. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a reason to fight them. We're in an industry where you get blackballed.
Okay, so Rodney here, he's saying it's the God's honest truth. Are you seeing and hearing the God's honest truth from A$AP in this part of his testimony?
Well, one of the things we always look for when individuals are making statements to yes or no questions, he could have just came out and said, no, I wasn't looking to fight Rocky. I sent him a text message, or we communicated back and forth, and the expectation was we were going to meet and speak. I think based on some of the text messages that they had showed in the earlier threads that had been deleted, there was probably some level of expectation that there was going to be some type of confrontation, whether it was going to be physical or not, even if it was argumentative. I think that as we see the swinging and the swaying of the chair moving back and forth, left and right, he is under a high level of stress. He actually does even indicate that at the onset of part of the testimony, where he says that he was nervous. So he is clearly indicating and showing levels of high anxiety, of stress, with his deep swallowing. He's readjusting and moving his neck. You see a lot of containment, even holding himself. His movement is very limited, and he mostly only does that even with his right hand.
Let me ask you, Marie, did you have an opportunity to observe the jury reaction to anything when Relli's testifying?
They're very attentive. They have little memo pads. They're taking notes, and they're really like, okay, yes, when one person is talking, they're paying attention. But the jurors don't, although the jury is very diverse, there are no black people on the jury. And I think to really understand the nuances of this case and the way ASAP Relli, Angry Relli, is handling himself. We have ASAP Ills, who is sort of like the body shield, according to ASAP Relli's testimony. And then you have Twelby, who is biased, and he's a sycophant, basically. You have all of them, but you need people on the jury who understand the streets. And I don't see with my eyes anyone who physically I would say, okay, that person is from the neighborhood, and they will understand what's going on here. Snitch culture, jealousy culture, ranks amongst, who made it out the hood, who became the Beyonce of the group. And it was ASAP. Why would there be jealousy there? You need a juror who could understand, and I don't think the jurors, to me, look like they understand the situation.
Interesting. All right, Marie's going to stay with us. Rodney, thank you so much. Always great to have your insight. Still to come, what impact will Rihanna have?
I think it's hard to deny that the celebrities, the cameras in the courtroom, all the extra attention. When jurors show up every single day, they see a mass of vans with cameras and people reporting on this. They know this case is getting special attention. I think it's hard to deny that doesn't affect everybody in the room.
And that is the official music video for the song Umbrella by Rihanna, posted to her YouTube channel, has more than 1 billion views. Meanwhile, her channel has more than 44 million subscribers. Extremely popular, obviously, Rihanna. But speaking of umbrellas, take a look at this. This is her leaving the courthouse under an umbrella. Ella, there she is. She's been in court because A$AP Rocky is the father of her children, her boyfriend. I don't know if they're fiancé, I don't know their exact status, but they are together, obviously. And she's been there more than one day, not just making a cameo. And there's the courtroom artist sketching her inside of that courtroom. So, super A-lister, right? Brings us to the next question in our investigation. And it's about Rihanna. What impact will Rihanna have? I remember Michael Jackson's trial, the trial of the man, the doctor, who was found guilty for the death of Michael Jackson, and the Jacksons would come into the courtroom. And when they came in the courtroom, I mean, it was a thing, and it had impact. It always does when you see a celebrity. Still with me, Marie Pereira, and joining me, the CEO of allhiphop.com. He's covered the rap game for more than 25 years, Chuck Creekmer. Okay, Chuck, I'm going to begin with you on the Rihanna issue here. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't know A$AP Rocky before this. I know he's a superstar. I just, I'm not in the game of knowing all the new music, even though I know it's more than a decade old. Okay, but I know Rihanna. I absolutely know Rihanna, and I know that Rihanna has at least one child because I saw her at the Super Bowl, right? So, what do you think is going to be the impact of Rihanna being in that courtroom, seated behind and supporting her man, A$AP Rocky?
Well, I think it depends on the juror, to be honest with you. As Maria noted, there are no African Americans on the jury. I think that if you're going to have sympathy or empathy for someone, it could probably help that you identify with them as a human being. That's not to judge the other, the other jurors. I understand it is a diverse group. Whether or not Rihanna influences is anyone's guess.
How do you think she's perceived in the public? Like, everyone has sort of like a public reputation. Celebrities do, especially when you get to that level. What are your thoughts about, for the average person when they think of Rihanna?
She's a bad gal. She's a superstar, but she's got a bit of an edge to her. She's loved for her fearlessness, and she takes chances and risks. She's also a very savvy businesswoman, so she's also considered extremely intelligent as a business person. So she's very highly regarded at this point. So she could sway. She's a mother now, understanding that she's a mother and that these kids have a father that may be taken away from them. That could also sway folks from potentially, especially with all of the confusion here. It's very confusing. So achieving reasonable doubt, it seems very hard.
Yeah, and you know what? I agree, Maria, with what Chuck is saying. I think that's a great point. And as I mentioned, I know Rihanna, right? I don't know her personally, but I know she is. But I also know that she's a mother. And if she's there supporting ASAP, then I'm going to put 2 and 2 together. And then I'm looking at this case, and I'm like, all right, nobody was really hurt, right? It's not really clear what's going on here. Do I really want to convict this father? Do I want to, damage a family here? Am I that it's almost like a reason to give a benefit of the doubt here.
Absolutely, and I think it was strategic that she appears in court sitting in the same row with his mother and his sister who come every single day. A$AP Relli, to my understanding, I don't see anybody in the courtroom supporting him. He was on for many, many days, and he was being grilled, humiliated, aggravated, just kicking back, being yelled at by the prosecutor, admonished by the judge. I didn't see anybody in the audience for him. And like Chuck says, it humanizes A$AP Rocky.
Absolutely.
They have 2 children, 2 boys under the age of 4,
yep.
RZA and Riot.
If they can put 2 and 2 together. We're out of time, Marie. I hate cutting off Marie Pereira because I love everything she says, but we're out of time. Marie and Chuck Creekmere, thank you both so much. There was a time here at Court TV when we covered a celebrity trial. I could predict the ending very quickly. The celebrity would win. But those days are over. Our society and our juries have become much more skeptical. However, celebrities still do better than average citizens. That's because they have the money to hire the best. And when they testify, they have a better chance of connecting with the jury. What will happen with A$AP Rocky? Well, only the jury knows the answer to that question. I'm Vinnie Politan. We'll keep digging for the answers as the investigation continues.